And
Didn't see this. All this
And
stuff
it's like,
in the truck.
you don't need to, but it's not part of the work. You just. It's not live, so I'm like, so
Everything else.
and I'm like, nope. So Mayor Joe came down with some orange
Three.
duct tape
Did you
and
get out?
a stick sheet with a note in that says,
Just
do
no.
not cut.
Just not.
And put a big X on it and spray paint and it didn't get it like that. So I was thinking, well, maybe you could do that.
I think they've already marked the ones that are gonna come
You say
down.
you ain't got to get out of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll let Kevin know, this one, mark that one off, that it's not.
Thanks.
And got out and they're stepping over public water and still into the some leather bottom shoes.
We'll make sure
They did it up in the damage and they covered it with water.
I knew that.
Oh,
Donovan, you go.
James said, "Oh, no."
I ain't get nothing. It's on 71. Tell the story.
We go.
Sure that,
You know it's coming.
Point of order.
marks off.
Hey, can we vote on that, Mayor?
What is it on? Oh, you
Oh,
let it stay on there. Let it stay on there.
All of these.
I'm saying.
1 minute.
They both.
Mm-mm. Let me get the other one right here.
Is there no gavel?
No, that's what I was looking for. That's why you told me to hit. I was like,
It's on your desk.
Thanks.
all right, Jeffrey. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay,
7 o'clock.
You're right.
yes, it is. Let's call, I'd like to call this meeting to order, 7 o'clock. Please turn off phones during this meeting. Make sure they are on mute, vibrate, or whatever you need them to be on, please. All right. I'd like to have a moment of silence. Okay. It stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Jill, please.
Councilmember Williams.
Present.
Reed.
Here.
Gall.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
French.
Here.
And Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
Here. Approval of agenda.
So move.
Support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. So moving on, no presentations or recognition. Public hearing application for obsolete property rehabilitation certificate for Albion Reinvestment Corporation for 101, 103, 105, 109, 111, 113, 115, 117, 119 South Superior Street. So at this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing. So at this time, there's no one that would like to come before us. All right, so I close the public hearing at 7:02. Hit it again. Okay. All right, so motion to approve resolution 2023-04, resolution to approve the obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate for Albion Reinvestment Corporation.
So move.
Support. Any discussion on this item?
Mr. Arnold to come up and give an overview, please.
Yes, thank you.
Didn't want to come up if we didn't want me, but
We
So-
want you.
thank you. So the obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate is something that applicants supply to us. We pass a resolution on, a whole lot of boxes checked in that resolution. That then gets sent to the state tax commission, or at least the Department of Treasury, maybe not the tax commission, it's Department of Treasury. Where they elect to grant or deny that exemption. The exemption for those 9 addresses will freeze the property values at their current value this year, 2023, for the next 12 years through to 2025 and to December, as part of one of the funding legs of the complicated big Albion plan table that the Albion Reinvestment Corporation is working on. So we're asking for that approval tonight so that we can send it off to make sure that that part of their financial picture is squared away.
I guess this is to the whole body here, to make sure that on page 6 that you're looking at what is being allocated, what is being asked for, because you know our constituents will come and ask, why did you do this? And that is exactly what he spoke of December 31st, 2023, and then December 30th of 2035. So we want to make sure that when we say yes, we do know that, because that is what everyone's going to get.
That's a good year to keep in mind if people are asking you what for. It's for the taxes that you'll be getting in that year.
They're gonna be asking. Anyone, any other questions? All right, so
Thank you.
thank you so much. All right. Thank you.
Councilmember Lindsay,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
Yes. All right, now we're moving on to the public comments. If there's anyone that would like to address the council over what we have just talked about, or the items that are on the agenda at this time, you may approach now. Ooh, all right. So we will move right along. There is no closed session tonight. Now, I need a consent, approval of the consent calendar. February 21st, 2023 study session minutes, and February 21st, 2023 regular session minutes.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So we'll move on to our individual discussion and approval items. A, discuss / approval first reading ordinance 2023-202. An ordinance to amend chapter 2 administration by amending article 4, finance division 2, purchases section 2-384, purchases and bids general.
So moved.
Support.
Yes, go ahead, please.
So as we discussed in the study session, what this does is it updates a rather outdated spending limit for the city manager. Basically, it raises the authority she has to authorize the purchases of budgeted supplies, materials, services from $5,000 to $15,000. Anything over $15,000 has to go out for the bid process. We built in a kind of a fail safe. If the bidding process fails, it allows the city manager to proceed by seeking not less than 3 proposals for those things that go up for bid but are unsuccessful. We kept the provision that requires the city manager to report all expenditures in excess of $1,000, so that accountability will still be there. The other provision that we added in is once a council approves a contract for the city manager does not then have to come back and get approval to make distributions under that contract. Because that's kind of it's a procedure that's happened in the past, but it's kind of redundant. So we've eliminated that necessity. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay. Jill?
Councilmember Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
Yes. B, approval of materials management agreement with Michigan Agribusiness Solutions.
So moved.
Support.
You like to go that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So as stated in the study session, in the city, we currently have a management service agreement with Agribusiness Solutions to haul off sludge from the wastewater treatment plant. Our current agreement is set to expire by the end of this month. So Director O'Brien solicited 3 proposals for a new provider to handle the service. We got 3. They all provide us with 3-year terms. And we are recommending to renew our agreement with our current provider. They are the second lowest bidder. However, they have a flat rate for any testing that may be required. And then we also just have a good working relationship with this company. So we are comfortable in making that recommendation to approve this service agreement.
Okay, all right. Kevin, did you have anything that you would like to say in this session over this item?
Did I miss anything or do you have anything you'd like to add?
I think the biggest reason we're going for the second bidder is the testing, the cleaning that could be incurred within this contract. The flat fee for Michigan Agra it's a known flat fee. The lowest bidder had per service fee, which definitely could have changed the amount of this contract as a whole.
Thank you so much for enlightening us even more. All right, Jill?
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Lawler.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
Yeah. We're going on to D, discussion and. C, oh, I'm sorry, you back that up, I marked it up, thank you so much. Approval of $100,000 expenditure request for fire truck purchase.
So moved.
Support.
So we received a $499,000, whatever the number grant was for a new fire, $390 grant for a new fire truck through FEMA. This is the 4th year, I believe, that we put in for this grant. Last year we paid $4,000 to have a grant writer write the grant for us. The big difference in that from what he wrote to what I had written was the amount. We had originally put in for $700,000. They put for $499,000, $390,000. Basically, what I've learned from the grant writer and other chiefs is that if you go over the $500,000 mark, you're probably not going to get the grant. And they don't tell you that; they just don't give you the grant. These grants were for 2022. Most of the grants were given out by the end of September of 2022. In January, they started giving out a few more because they had money left over. The next year's grant was due by February 10th. We didn't find out that we got this grant till the next week. I put in for this grant again based on what we've done by February 10th. So we actually have the grant in to get this truck again, even though we don't need it because they gave it to us a week later. But my point in saying that was this is one of the very last grants they gave out. And the same thing kind of happened with the tower when we got it, because that year we were one of 3 departments in the entire country that got one of those trucks for $1 million. So it's rare that they do this, and we're lucky to have gotten this grant. The extra $100,000, obviously the cost of the truck is more than that. We've had a lot of increases in prices over the last year. And so it's the cost is just going up and up. When I asked the person if we ordered a truck, if we did the RFP and ordered the truck in I think it took us till like July to get it done last time. He said it would easily be over $600,000 just for the truck. So the longer we wait, the more it's going to go up and so forth. You can see that this $100,000 that I've requested puts us about $30,000 over the cost of the truck. There are some other equipment that we need to make this truck what is considered a class 1 pumper per NFPA standards. I don't think it'll be anywhere near $30,000, but I figured I'd just ask for it. That way I don't have to come back to the council every time I need one more thing or one more piece of equipment for it. It just would blanket it out, and my hope is to stay well underneath that amount. So.
Any questions for Chief Kip?
I just want to remind council that this will be a 2024 expenditure. We're just asking for approval now so that we can get this ordered, so we will not have to wait and miss out on the truck that is ready to go.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, no questions? Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed, yes, Waller.
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Davis. Yes. All right, proceeding, the discussion emergency management plan. Councilwoman Vivian Davis.
My concern as it relates to emergency and Albion, not necessarily the big gigantic emergency, but I want to know and I want to make sure the citizens know what the resources that are available for citizens in Albion when there are minor emergencies, even like the lights, no lights or water or heat and things like that, food insecurity problems and stuff like that. So I would like to, we're going to review this and maybe come back with suggestions and ideas and things like that. Or if you have a committee or someone to do it, then, at least to make it known what is available for emergencies in the Albion community.
It looks like this was last updated in 2006, so I think we can, Chief and I can get together, review it and bring forward any recommendations to get this updated and current. I just want to remind everybody that if there is an emergency, if City Hall is open, we will serve as a warming or a cooling shelter to our residents. They're more than welcome to come here if it's in the summer months and they don't have air, or in the cold winter months if they don't have heat or power. If we are open and operating, you can come into City Hall, but then public safety, that front lobby is.
The lobby's open 24 hours a day, and it's air conditioned heat, so.
And that will be included in this, right?
Yep. And I know, in speaking with Chris Young, the Carroll County Emergency Manager, he spoke to me about these sites as well, and I know it's in their plan, and they were working on updating all their information. And if you get to the back of ours, you can see there's a lot of phone numbers that need to be updated as the city manager and mayor from that time are still listed in there. So those things need to be updated, and then we'll go through the rest of it and see if there's anything else we can add.
Okay, and this will be placed probably on the website.
Yeah, I will try to get this back to council and for council approval, hopefully maybe in April. If we can get it done that quickly. It's not, it's really basic information, and a lot of it is stuff that we would do anyways, but it's written down in a plan so that people understand what we're doing, so.
Thank you.
That would be nice, Chief, if you get that back in April. I understand we might get a whole lot more stuff.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
No, you just jinxed us.
I'm not doing this. All right, okay. So moving on to E, approval of Brownfield reimbursement agreement.
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. I do believe that.
Yep, I can give a brief overview and then if Virgie would like to add anything that I may have missed. So this Brownfield reimbursement agreement, it was approved by the Albion VRA or the EDC board on August 4th, 2022. City Council, you approved on September 6th, 2022. When talking with CEO Ammerman, she just had their legal attorney review it. He had some language cleanup. She took it back to the VRA or EDC board. They approved it last week. So now we are just as the formal procedure or process, just bring it to City Council and recommending approval, which kind of ties into the Oprah application that you approved, which further sets the Big Albion plan up to come to life. Okay, if I missed anything or if there's anything you'd like to add.
Thank you, city manager. So this is, the Brownfield reimbursement agreement is a document that manages the Brownfield payments that go back out to the developer and then the cycle in which those go out. So this is the agreement that says, yes, we can issue those payments. You've seen this. So this is phase 1 of the Big Albion plan. And I just noticed on page 15 or 16 of your agenda, you have a timeline. So I think the question came up, when will this be done? So we're targeting spring of 2024. So shovels should be flying as soon as they break ground, as soon as we're scheduled to be at the MSF on the 28th. So that would be the final funding. So so you've seen this with your the lofts that you did downtown, and you saw this with the hotel too. So you're getting very good at how to do these payments. So nothing new. It's just that this particular document just needed to be updated before it could be signed.
Good job, ladies. Any questions from council? All right, go ahead, Jill.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes,
French.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
Yes. Any future item agendas?
Just for an FYI for council, I received that final report from Greg Buchow, who we worked with on the strategic planning over the weekend. So I will review and I will have it on the agenda to, I'll provide it to council before then, so give you time to look over, but then to have that formal discussion. We can have that at that next meeting.
Yes.
The planning department requested a modification to the rental registration ordinance. Basically just kicks the registration deadline from the end of March to the end of September. That's already been drafted and sent to Jill, so that should be up for discussion first reading at your next meeting.
Okay.
what are cities doing, our communities doing regarding preparation for the plant that is coming? You know, should we be taking some kind of action, some kind of proactive measures, or what is happening with that in terms of our involvement?
Yes, happy to address this now, or I can do it city manager's report, but this morning, actually, myself, Virgie, along with a representative from Rep. Hosma's office, we met this morning, and we are, in my role as city manager, in the role of the EDC director, we're making sure that the Albion community is ready to support the Blue Oval plant that is coming to the city of Marshall. We know that we have an abundance of needs. And talking with the EDC director, I know she's actively working to get the second industrial park up and running. She has developers approaching her ready to support this site. So we're making sure that we put our ask out. We're making sure that we put out what our needs are in the community when it comes to infrastructure. We know we need to have that foundational support to be able to support new development. So we are working hard in each of our roles to make sure that Albion is heard and that we can get some resources into our community to set ourselves up to support this new plant coming to the city of Marshall. It's not only going to impact Marshall, but it's going to affect Calhoun County, and we want to make sure that we're ready to support that. At being a post-industrial community, we have all of the infrastructure to support manufacturing companies. We just need to invest in getting that up to where it needs to be, and we are working hard to make sure that our needs are out there and that we are ready to go, because I think they said it's going to be 3 years for it to be built, but those 3 years are going to come and go, so we need to, we're already started to prepare ourselves.
Thank you for that information, city manager. Okay, at this time, any public comments of any of the agenda items that we have went through over A through E? At this time, you can come before us with 3 minutes, a limit of 3 minutes.
They can come.
Any time, okay. Well, any public comment, I'm limited.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Jackson. My pleasure to see you and other council members and city council's attorney and city clerk here this evening. I'm Jim Hotzma. I'm the representative of the now 44th district, which includes Battle Creek, Albion, and the townships connecting those two cities. In context of what Councilwoman Ms. Davis just asked, this project coming to South Central Michigan, in my opinion, is going to be transformational to the region. It won't be focused only on Marshall Township and Marshall City, but I think it will certainly positively affect places north, like Charlotte and Bellevue, south, like Hillsdale, Jonesville, and Quincy, Coldwater. Certainly will affect positively Albion and Jackson, and over to Battle Creek and Springfield, and parts further north, south, east and west of even those ports. So I'm really excited. My Democratic leadership in the House fought hard for this last week. I personally fought hard for it. I can tell you, I was up 1 hour and down the next hour as we went into mid-evening last week, Wednesday. But I'm really excited we have this coming. I'm excited that City Manager Snyder and Ms. Ammerman from Albion EDC and my staff, Paul Agnetuck, were able to meet this morning. I'm confident we'll continue to have good discussions about what we can, by reason of the Blue Oval Battery Park announcement, bring specifically to the city of Albion, what kind of supports we can bring to this community, which, like Battle Creek, is sorely in need of some economic great news. And I'm really excited that I can share this great news with you, and equally excited that I think we can advocate for additional benefits to come to Albion specifically by reason of this procurement of the Ford battery plant in Marshall Township. Thanks. I'd be willing to answer any questions subsequently, but it's not often we make some kind of transformational announcement like this to South Central Michigan. As I put it in the State House last Wednesday, I think this is the probably most significant economic great news we've had in South Central Michigan since the cornflake. And I by no means think that that is an exaggeration. I think this is, at least in my lifetime, the biggest thing that has happened in South Central Michigan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for speaking for us. Yes. We need that plan.
Any other public comments? All right, at this time, city managers report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So a copy of my report was included in the packet. Just a few things I'd like to highlight. I attended the EDC Workforce Task Force meeting on February 21st. In this meeting, I shared the city's council's priority of having summer youth employment. We'll have a follow-up meeting this week. Councilmember Williams, you have been invited since you brought this forward as a priority, as well as Virgie will be meeting in Scott Elberly and Ben Wallace to discuss how can we provide that opportunity to youth here in our community. Director Arnold and I met with the land bank on February 21st as well. So Southwest Michigan Planning Council, they provided the funding for environmental testing on a few properties. 201 East Pine, 203 East Pine, 310 Fitch Street, and 312 Fitch Street. These are all potential Mr. Mod sites. As you all are aware, the original site, we are unable to utilize that right now due to environmental issues. So we're moving forward with that process, and we will have hopefully a selected site to bring to council's attention here very soon. We had the joint pre-construction meeting for the two construction projects that will take place this year, the North Albion Street Bridge and the Haven Road Street project. We had a very nice turnout. I was happy to see over 20 residents come out to hear about those two projects. So looking forward to getting those done. I attended a webinar on the MEDC CDBG Public Gathering Spaces Grant last Wednesday, March 1st. So the planned improvements that the DDA are working on for Stover Plaza, it's a prime focus of this funding source. So I will be meeting with Ben Baker, the project engineer with Wyman Associates, and then the chair and vice chair of the DDA to discuss how can we take advantage of this grant opportunity to make some of those projects that have been identified in that master plan come to life. And hopefully we will be applying for this grant opportunity. And I sent you all an email I believe last week or the end of the following week. So we have submitted 2 congressionally directed spending requests to the office of Senator Gary Peters and Debbie Stabenow. The project requests address the city's priority of helping underrepresented and minority populations with chronic poverty, employment, and housing. This model is based on successful models that have been implemented in Seattle and Raleigh. So if the city is awarded this funding, we will collaborate with the EDC and other organizations in our community to carry out that project. We worked with a political strategist. Her name is Jane Jones. She helps organizations attain federal funds. This connection was made through Mark Newman with the college. So she assisted the college and the YMCA to secure funding at the last cycle. So she is very good at what she does. She has offered to enter into an agreement with the city of Albion to continue to identify different funding sources at the state and federal level. She only takes on a few clients, so I think we should be honored that she's willing to continue to work with us. So I will bring forward an agreement for council to consider or to approve. Has been reviewed by the city attorney's office. I would like to just support Virgie for having the EDC economic forecast last week. It was a nice turnout as well. Very excited things happening here in our community, and just thank you for inviting the city of Albion to participate. Happy to answer any questions.
Yes, Councilman Williams.
Thank you. Okay, so the congressionally directed spending request, will we be reviewing a actual plan before, well, anytime soon?
Yep, I'd be happy to provide both of those to you.
Okay, all right, I was hoping this was an agenda item so we can actually discuss it a lot more in depth. Being that I haven't seen a plan, I'll hold off until I see a plan and then we can discuss it further. Thank you.
So, Madam Manager, I would like to be involved in the workforce, in terms of the youth employment and, the workforce task force, so to speak.
It's one of the EDC task force, so we'll make sure that you're included in those meetings.
All right, thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you so much. So I'm just, this last item, so we applied for this grant, but we don't have a plan for housing. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's not a plan for housing, so through this, it will identify vacant properties that will be eligible to bring in new housing developments. And then it's the first component is doing research to identify new incentives that we can offer to developers to come in and then build new affordable housing. So we're not building housing through this. It's kind of doing the groundwork, the research to put ourselves in a better place to attract new development to bring more housing to the community.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Any other questions for our city manager? All right. Okay, we move on now to mayor and council members' comments. Well, I would like to thank State Rep Jim Heisman for coming in and giving us an update and continue to be able to support us. So we thank you for all that you do. We'd like to also thank our own Virgie Ammerman, the president I gotta make sure I say it all right, CEO of EDC as well. And all of you that came out to support us tonight and continue to hold us up. And we just want to thank you for how you continue Kip and Kip and O'Brien and what you do for our city. And then also our new finance guy as well. So I'm sorry if I didn't say your name correctly. So we thank you for all that you have done. Anyone else?
Motion to excuse.
I'm sitting on that side. Okay. So at this time, Motion to excuse any absent council member, our mayor.
So
Support.
Okay, all in favor, say.
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Okay. All right, motion to adjourn.
So move.
Support.
All in favor, say.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, meeting adjourned at 7:00.